Every week, the Xfinity Editors pick the TV show or movie premiere they are most excited about right now. And this week, we are starting with our newbie. It's Sammy. Sammy, what do you got for us?
All right. Now, when most people think of Bravo, they probably go to maybe Below Deck or Vanderpump Rules, but not me. I'm here to talk about my favorite reality show. Yes, it is Top Chef. Let's take a look.
20 seasons in terms of the sophistication of the cooking, the actual workmanship.
Get those knives ready, Pop.
The creativity, the competition just got really, really serious.
16 Top Chef winners and finalists representing 11 different Top Chef competitions around the world have come to London to compete in the ultimate culinary showdown.
I won Top Chef Poland.
Finalist Top Chef Germany.
I won Top Chef Mexico.
He's sprinting over there.
Wouldn't you be?
The judges are pushing us far from our comfort zone.
World All-Stars, you should be able to do everything.
I gotta fight to make my dream come true.
The skills. They call it Top Chef World All-Star for a reason.
We're gonna take you a little pub crawl. We started early.
Sylvia's happy today, all the potatoes.
My day. I'm dizzy.
All right. So as you can tell, they've really upped the ante in this season. This is, like we said, in London. Usually it takes place in the US, but this year they're bringing in chefs from all over the world who've either won or come close to winning their country's Top Chef. I personally had no idea that there even were this many versions of Top Chef, which is embarrassing because I have seen every season of the American version. David, Kwam, have you ever seen Top Chef?
I watched from season 1 up until, it's been on so long that it was on when I still lived at home with my parents, and I used to watch it with them. And then I moved out and I stopped watching it. But I was a massive fan. And I still although I can't, yes, I can. Some of the Uber villains are so iconic. There was a guy named Marcel, who was one of the most hated. I believe Tiffany with red hair, who's now in a bunch of things. She was a villain. So some of the greatest all-time reality show villains came out of Top Chef, which is kind of unexpected.
Totally.
I didn't anticipate that chefing was so competitive. This is so serious. I thought, cooking in the kitchen would be a lot more fun and relaxed, vibes, but it seems like everyone's kind of on their toes. I have not seen Top Chef. I am not, Sammy, you will learn, I am not the biggest fan of reality TV, but I do like to cook. So maybe I do need to start watching and become more serious in the kitchen.
Well, this is a great season to jump in if you haven't watched in a while or you've never watched Top Chef before, because there's a lot of new faces, a lot of chefs from all over the world that I personally have never watched before, like we saw from Italy, from France, Poland, the Middle East, Africa. So there's a lot of, like you mentioned, David, some villains appearing in this season, a little brewing of drama perhaps, but it's not maybe the jam-packed reality show that you'd be getting from other Bravo shows. This is more about the competition and maybe learning something as well. They've got some food facts that pop up in the show this year, so definitely learning a lot. And also Padma Lakshmi, Gail Simmons, Tom Colicchio, aka the trio that I love so dearly. They have also upped their game this season. They, I believe, are judging a little more harshly than in the past. And they made it clear in the first episode that really any little thing can get you sent home. So I think this will be a good one. I'm very excited.
Yeah, Kwam, nobody beefs like chefs do. My stepfather was a chef, and growing up, he used to tell me what a hack Emeril Lagasse was. He legitimately hated Emeril Lagasse, even though he'd never met him. And he used to beef with other local chefs in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Beef pun was not intended. Chefs love to celebrate each other, but they also love trashing each other's food. There's a really great TikTok account called Chef Reactions, where this guy just tears into other chef creations, but he also gives props. So Anyway, that's all to say, like, I think this is like one of the you think Vanderpump Rules has drama. Top Chef's got it too.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Sammy, for that. Quam, what is the series that you or movie that you are most looking forward to this week?
The series I'm most looking forward to this week is none other than Succession. This show is amazing. If you have not seen it, you're in luck. We have a clip for you. Please roll the clip.
Why does everyone ask how I'm feeling? I got done a huge deal. I got the election. I got ATM. I got plenty on my plate.
He's on the floor, Tom.
Explain to me what he's doing.
He's moseying, terrifyingly moseying. It's like if Santa Claus was a hitman.
We were cut out behind our backs. But there's a shape for things for us. We partner up with Sandy and Stewie, with Pierce. Death wrestling ogres.
Excited to get into this knife fight?
Let's blow it up.
I'm not authorized to let you take off.
It's that. You know, in Buddhism, sometimes your greatest tormentor can also be your most perceptive teacher.
Hey, Buddha, nice Tom Fords.
There's a night of the long knives coming. I need a fire breather. Your help with Matt's.
You really want me?
I need you.
Mr. Mencken, my most unworthy opponent.
Still clinging to your slice of pie.
So that is Succession. And in a nutshell, it's about this family who own this media corporation, and they're at odds with each other. And who doesn't love, good old sibling rivalries and beefing with your dad? Talking about beefs, this is the beef to end all beefs. It's an amazing show. It's a lot of dark comedy, a lot of dark humor. It's very dry humor. So if you're a fan of shows like The Office, but also want more edge, you would probably love Succession. And it's just also very intriguing in seeing how these, misfits really are all kind of conniving and stabbing each other in the back. And they're supposed to be family. It's on its final season, and I could not be more heartbroken to see it go. But I love this show, and I'm so excited to start watching. I'm sure y'all have seen Succession.
Sammy, you big fan?
Oh yes, big fan. Every Sunday. This is what I think of when I think of HBO Sunday night, is Succession. The drama, the intro is very intriguing. It's a
yeah, I love this series, and the writing is so good. I mean, the fact that you can sit and watch a trailer and like laugh 5 times at a line from somebody is just, I mean, that's the mark of some quality. And like sometimes you're like, did I see all the best lines in the trailer? No. You didn't. I was thinking actually yesterday about Brian Cox, because he is so intimidating in this show, but then I was also thinking he was in Super Troopers. Like he was in X-Men. Like he's a dude who like clearly has like a sense of humor, and is willing to like do all kinds of genre films and such. But I think this is the most Brian Cox he's ever been.
I mean, I think you hit the nail right on the head, David. I mean, he plays Logan Roy, and he's just so intimidating, and he's not really doing like anything that's like super intimidating. It's just his presence that really makes you feel like, oh man, this guy, he's not effing around here to use his language. He's a serious dude. I love Cousin Greg. I think, David, you coined me the Cousin Greg of The Office, which I wear as a badge of honor. I love him because he's like the outsider who's not really a part of this family, but had to work his way up to become recognized as a key player in the family. And same for Tom. Tom, he always was getting like, poo-pooed on, and he's finally getting his comeuppance. He's like, yes, I am not the butt of everyone's joke. I'm not the punching bag. No, I am Tom. Respect me. Give me my respect.
I think something that this show does that The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel also does really well, aside from it's inclusive of the writing, is that every character feels fleshed out and feels important and interesting. And like you watch Maisel, and it's about Midge Maisel, but like Tony Shalhoub's character and Maren Hinkle's character are great. And then you have like Zachary Levi comes in for like an arc, and you're like, oh, like I really like him too. And like Midge's ex is really great. And on and on and on. All these secondary characters are just as fascinating as the main characters you're watching. And like even Connor, who's all the way in the back of that poster there, is still like every moment he's on screen, you're just like, what a little weaselly worm, but you just want to see more of this dude.
Yeah, it's a great show, and it's a great show. If you have not watched it, please do yourself a service and go start watching Succession before the season 4 finale. David, what is your favorite series or movie?
Well, the show I'm most excited about this week is the Showtime, maybe supernatural thriller series, Yellowjackets, which just returned for a second season on March 26th. Let's take a look at a clip.
Listen to my voice and watch the light. Allow yourself to go back, no matter how difficult it gets. What do you see?
Darkness. We brought it back with us.
It's happening again, isn't it?
You can feel it. We weren't alone out there.
This isn't where we're supposed to be.
Not cry about this, Misty. Babies cry.
Kidnapping, cults, death. Your friendships are a little more complicated than most.
It's so good. If you are unfamiliar with the series, Yellowjackets follows a team of high school soccer players who are stranded deep in the Canadian wilderness after their plane crashes on their way to a tournament in Seattle. The show jumps back and forth between 1996, where the students fight for their survival against the elements and each other, and present day, where we see which passengers survived and get a glimpse into the physical and mental tolls this tragedy has taken on them. If you love a thriller, if you love horror, if you love a mystery, you will love this show. And the thing I think I love and also hate about this show most is the way it feeds you just enough answers to keep you invested week after week, but not enough to give away the whole story. And that's kind of maddening. And one of the ways that they achieve that sort of drip of story, that story drip, is by showing you who survived 19 months stranded in the woods, but you don't know how they survived or what kinds of awful things they did to survive. You occasionally know who died, but you don't know how they died or who killed them. And we also haven't even learned the fates one way or another of everyone who was on that plane. It's like Lord of the Flies meets Ladybugs meets Now and Then, in a very twisted way. The casting for the show is also stellar. Melanie Linsky and Sophie Nélisse play the adult and teenage versions of Shauna. Perfect casting. Tawny Cypress and Jasmine Savoy Brown, who you might know from the most recent Scream movies, play the adult and teenage versions of Thaisa. Perfect casting. Christina Ricci and Sammy Hanratty play the adult and teenage versions of Misty. Perfect casting. And Juliette Lewis and Sophie Thatcher, who you may have seen recently in the Book of Boba Fett, play the adult and teenage versions of Natalie. It's just spectacular. Season 1 ended on a big cliffhanger, so I'm very excited to see where this mystery goes next. Lauren Ambrose and Elijah Wood joined the cast, which you saw there in the trailer. If you haven't watched season 1, do yourself a favor and catch up now. Yellowjackets airs Sunday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern on Showtime. Sammy, I know you watch it. Tell me why you love this show.
I did not watch this when it first premiered in its first season. I was a binge this one in about 36 hours. It was so addicting. David, what you said about this slow drip of information is so true. Every time you find out something more, you think it's going to satisfy you, and then you need to know 100 more things after that, and you just cannot look away. One of my favorite things also, not only the casting, but is the soundtrack. There's some great songs featured in this show. I think in the
90s.
second season, yes, some great throwbacks. Second season, Florence and the Machine does a cover of I'm Just a Girl. It's fabulous. It's so haunting and creepy and just really sets the tone for the whole show. I'm very into it.
Kwame, have you watched?
I have not. I have not watched this show, and it's something that I feel like it'll be like right up my alley. So it's surprising that I haven't gotten around to watching it. But I think I will start just giving your glowing reviews that you've just given throughout, the show's lifespan. And again, it sounds like something I would really be interested in. I do have a question though. Is it called Yellowjackets as a play off of like Lord of the Flies, or is that just like coincidence?
I don't know the answer to that though. It's Yellowjackets because that's the name of the school. That's their team mascot. But that is very astute observation.
Well,
I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, like, because Lord of the Flies, it was centered around like some young boys, and so the kind of like the parallel to flies would be bees. And there's like the queen bees, so I'm assuming that there's like the queen of the girl group who's kind of like running everything, but then everyone wants to be queen because no one wants to be a servant. So I don't know. That's kind of I look at things like that, and it's like, is this a reference at all? But yeah, I have to watch this show. I
love it. You would like it. I love that you've assigned like a whole bunch of context that might not exist, but I love it because it's so accurate. I kind of mentioned that you don't really know if there's something supernatural going on here because they hint at it, but it is yet to be seen if there's like some sort of ghostly force at work in any part of this, or if they're just like losing their minds because they haven't eaten and they're out in the snow in a cabin in the middle of the woods. But yeah, I love this. And if Kwame, I know you watched The Last of Us, Melanie Linsky, who played the leader of Fedra, it was Fedra, yeah. She is also in this, and it's funny because she's like, first of all, she's Australian, so she has an accent, which you would never know by watching her in any of this. And she's the sweetest, nicest person, but she plays all these really awful characters, especially in Yellowjackets. Well, especially in Last of Us.
I mean, maybe that says something about her. She's a secret personality.
She did an interview and she's like, I think there's just something in me that just needs to come out.
Clearly.
Well, you can check out all the shows we just talked about and so much more by saying what to watch into your voice remote.